My mom tore up my records and screamed, "You're abandoning your brother!" My dad branded me a failure. They dragged me to donate my liver, until the doctor spoke 6 chilling words that froze the room, and my mother collapsed into her chair. "Pick it up, Aiden. Pick it up and look at it." My mom's voice cracked like broken glass. She slammed a shredded photo album onto the table, pages bent, family pictures torn right through the middle. My childhood face stared up at me from a ripped corner, one eye missing. "You don't belong in this family anymore," she hissed, chest rising and falling fast. "You walk away from us. You walk away from your brother. Do you understand? Ezra could die. And you're thinking of yourself." Across the table, my dad leaned forward, his shirt unbuttoned halfway, his hands shaking from drink. "You were supposed to be the strong one," he muttered, eyes red, voice low but heavy. "But look at you. Nothing but a disappointment we can't depend on." The room felt alive with rage. The sharp slam of my sister Raina's chair as she stood, the way the light flickered over the peeling wallpaper, the smell of stale beer on the carpet. Then Raina's voice cut through. "Stop pretending, Aiden. You always wanted him gone. You'd rather Ezra die than give him a piece of yourself." The air turned colder. Even my father blinked. The words weren't just cruel. They were an accusation. One that could never be taken back. "My name is Aiden Callan. I'm 26 years old. For years, I've been the quiet one in this house. The background shadow. The one who nods, agrees, absorbs. I learned early that speaking only gave them new weapons to throw back at me. So I swallowed my anger, my dreams, my music, my voice. But silence has a way of building. It becomes heavy, like carrying stones in your chest. And tonight, the stones were starting to crack. They thought they knew me, the quiet son, the easy one to guilt. But I've carried truths they've buried for years. Things they would never want spoken aloud. And for the first time in my life, I felt something dangerous. I was ready to speak. Family members introduced. The house has always been a stage, and each of them plays their role. Victor Callan, my father, 55, once respected in town, but now his tie is a rag tossed over a chair, his voice thick with whiskey. When he waves me off, it feels like a judge dismissing a worthless case. Elise Callan, my mother, 52. Her tears come easy, but so does her rage. She knows how to collapse into a chair and make the room bend around her. Raina Callan, my younger sister, 23. Quick tongue, sharper when she's scared, always circling my mother's side, always waiting to be praised. Ezra Callan, 28. My older brother. Ezra's the golden child. Even now with his body failing in a hospital bed, they still see him as light, as hope. They see me as the shadow. "Say it, Aiden," Raina demanded, her chin lifted high. "Say you don't care if Ezra dies." Her voice shook, not with anger, but with something else. Fear. "You're donating, Aiden. That's it." My mother's words came fast, sharp. "You don't get to decide. Family doesn't ask. Family gives. No." That single word left my mouth so quietly, it almost didn't sound real. The table rattled when Victor's fist slammed down. "Don't test me, boy. You think you've carried this family? You've carried nothing." Raina laughed bitterly. "Of course he said no. He's always been jealous of Ezra. This is just his chance to watch him suffer." I stared at her, my lips pressing shut, my jaw tight. Same game, same script. Ezra their star, Aiden their villain. But something new slipped through. When Victor muttered about hospital bills we can't afford, Raina's face twitched. She turned away, fast. That was no accident. That was guilt. The storm broke. Voices overlapped. Accusations flew like broken glass. "You're heartless!" Elise shrieked. "What kind of brother does this?" "You disgust me," Victor spat, his breath sour. "You sit in your music room while Ezra fights for his life." "You're nothing, Aiden," Raina snapped, tears in her eyes. Nothing but a shadow. I leaned back in my chair, calm. Their anger rolled over me like water against stone. And then I said it. I'm the only one who hasn't stolen from him. The room froze. Elisa's sobs stopped short. Victor's hand hovered over his glass. Raina's lips parted, her face draining pale. I let the silence breathe before I added, softer but sharper. You don't want me quiet tonight. I was 16 when Ezra needed surgery. I remember the night like it was branded into me. My guitar, the only thing I ever owned that felt mine, gone. Sold without asking, without warning. I walked into the hospital that night, smelling of antiseptic and burned out lights. Ezra lay on the bed, pale but smiling, surrounded by balloons. Mom stroked his hair, whispering, "We'll never let anything happen to you." And me? My father clapped my shoulder once. "You'll get over it, Aiden." That was all. My sacrifice turned invisible, but I wasn't invisible. Raina had been in the hallway. She saw me clutching the empty guitar case. She saw me fight the tears back, and she said nothing. You want truth? My voice was steady now, cutting through the storm. I turned to Raina. Tell them what you did with Ezra's medical fund. Her face collapsed. She shook her head, stammering. I didn't... Victor roared, "Don't you dare!" But the secret spilled out, shattering the golden picture. Raina had gambled part of Ezra's fund. Victor covered it with more debt. Elise knew, but buried it under guilt. Mine. And Ezra, he had known all along. He let me carry the weight so his image stayed pure. The house shook with the fallout. Raina screaming, "I didn't mean it!" Elise sobbing into her hands. Victor hurling his glass against the wall, shards glittering on the floor. And me, standing in the middle of it all, steady, unbroken. I gave you all my silence, I said, my voice low but powerful. Tonight I give you the truth. Ezra's voice rasped from the couch. You don't understand, Aiden. We were protecting you. I almost laughed. Protecting me? That was the cruelest lie of them all. I slid on my jacket, my movement slow, almost gentle. You'll twist it however you want, I said. You always have. I was the mistake, the scapegoat, but not anymore. Raina reached out, her hand trembling. Please, I didn't mean for... I pulled back. Every choice you made was meant. The front door creaked open. Cool night air touched my skin like freedom. For the first time in years, the silence was mine, not theirs. The house didn't collapse in one night, but the family inside it did. Victor drank heavier. Elise stayed in bed more. Raina tried to rebuild her image with forced apologies. And Ezra survived, but not because of me. And me? I walked lighter. For the first time, I exhaled without carrying the weight of their expectations. I don't know if forgiveness will ever live in me. Maybe one day, maybe never. But I know this. Silence isn't my prison anymore. Or if you were in my place, would you forgive them? Or would you walk away forever? Tell me in the comments. Your voice matters here. Like if you felt Aiden's pain, comment your thoughts. What would you have done? Subscribe for more stories where silence finally breaks into truth.